Simon. Okay, now we are going to discuss about the Simon. Simon is an American politician and social scientist. His contribution has been particularly significant in the field of decision making. His principal publications are Administrative Behavior, Fundamental Research in Administration, Organization, News, Science of Management, Decision, Shape of Automation, Science of the Artificial and Human Problem Solving. Shape of Automation, Science of the Artificial and Human Problem Solving. Fundamental research in the administration, organization, publication and administrative behavior. So this was his book. Simon was a very much influenced by Follett idea and group dynamics and human relation approach pioneered Dalton Mayo and other Bernard. In fact, Bernard function of executive had positive influence of the Simon thinking about the administration. Simon mentioned Bernard in 37 times in his history theories, and Simon considered decision making as a core administration. To his administration nothing but decision making. He was awarded Nobel Prize in 1978 for his work in decision making. Simon criticized the traditional principle administration, propounded the classical theory and called them proverbs, myths and slogans, pompous invectives. The principle of classical theory individually look reasonable, logical as well as argued, but this principle are applied simultaneously. They go contrary to each other. He remarked that when the principle of organization confront evidence failed, according to the principle of span of control, there should be maximum 5 to 6 subordinate under the superordinate. On the other hand, principle of communication advocated the administrative efficiency increase with lesser level organization. The moment principle of span of control in adhere, then increase level of organization. If the principle of communication is adhered, then the span of control increase. Therefore, both the principle and contradictory to each other. There should be a division of work as a principle of specialization so that over the period each worker is skilled to perform his defined job, but the unity of command propagated that each subordinate should be under one superior only. The departmentalization dysfunctional. Simon observed that hardly any difference between the purpose and process. Therefore, it is difficult to differentiate between the two, making it difficult to organize the department based on purpose and process. For instance, Ministry of Finance is almost the same purpose and process. The person and place can be considered as a person in itself. In the number of cases, the department may have all the 4P. For instance, Defense Department doctorate particular region looking after the war window for the welfare of the pupil. Thus, criticism of classical theory view Herbert Simon is particularly relevant to the Kulik and Urwig, since both theories belong to group of classical theory and referred the criticism to principle of administration. Simon went to extent of referring the principle of classical theory and scientific. He observed that the classical theory of administration are in fact rule of thumb. Anything to be science should be based on the observation, empiricism and inductive analysis rather than being based on the casual approach, experience, deductive analysis. Beside the everything is provisional. So Herbert Simon, decision making, facts and value, state of decision making, nature of decision making and types of decision making. So facts and value. Simon rejected the classical view precise of both methodology and content. He explained that decision making basically involves choice between the alternative plans and action. The decision has two components, fact and value. To explain the difference between the factual and value component, Simon had used mean and end paradigm. The factual component of this means medium component and the end is value. Ethical preferences. This means end process is never ending process. The means of today may become the ends of the goals achieved and the achieved goal may become the means of the future goal. Simon believed interested in the developing a science of administration, propagated that science of administration should be built an factual premise not based ethical component. An administrative science like any science is concerned purely with the factual statement. There is no place for the ethical statement. His consideration factual and value premise very similar to the classical theory view of policy administration dichotomy. He observed that whole of the administration is not factual. Administration has both factual and value aspect. Decision making. Simon given three stage of decision making. He given the level of organization like intelligence, design and choice. Intelligence phase occasion which require decision making is found. The organization environment understood the coordination with need phrase action identical, such as collection of data, the root of decision identical. The identifying the developing analyzing data is called the design. The strategy created alternative course of actions decided in final stage. And choice based faces the manager's strategy choose the best alternative after through the mathematical calculation. Pro and con. Though Simon came out with the phase decision making, he added the other more phase called the feedback stage. Nature of decision making. Simon expounded the necessary being the rational decision making. The decision maker know all the alternatives. The decision maker know the utility of the older decision, and the decision maker ordered preference among all the alternatives. But Simon firmly believed that all the above three assumptions are fundamentally incorrect and not possible in reality. In order to achieve all the achieved assumption, the decision maker first requires infinite capacity to assess the data information relating to the issue. Second, should be the able to compute, process, and infinite data information. Third, should be able to generate all the possible strategies and informal data and informal and should be able to take a best choice. And the Simon believed that scenario is hypothetical. Man has limitation including the technical manpower resources. Beside infinite capacity in anything is impossible. Therefore total rationality is hypothetical. Simon therefore discussed bounded rationality. The decision can be taken with the limitation. Individual in the organization work through limitation through bounded rationality. Simon has the diluted the concept of rationality, but in integrity he did not undermine the concept of rationality, rather promoted the rationality. He decision according to him should be consistent with the goal. Simon explained the concept of bounded rationality. Economic, administrative, social man. An economic man calculate the cost benefit analysis, find the minimum cost, maximum utility. Followed the concept of total rationality. The social man is emotive and affective. Administrative men know the impossible to calculate all the alternatives, and like economic man finds the good enough solution, satisfy the need. He tried to rationalize, but does not have ability to maximum and the satisfying, and he governed the bounded rationality. It can be some at it is not the base price but fair price. So individual may not be able to achieve the base organization because of limitation. He should strive for best and try to optimize his capacity. Simon made distinction between the two type of decision, program and non-programmed. The programmed decision are usual, repetitive, routine, and recurring. Nothing is new. The level of rationality is three type. On contrary, non-programmed decision is novel, unstructured, unusual, non-repetitive. The decision is new as a problem not been arisen before. The level of rationality is comparatively low. So, sign in both organization and environment are changing rapidly. The role of non-programmed decision are becoming more relevant. The manager has to tactful and wrong decision can prove costly organization. He should always take an attempt to increase the rationality of decision making. It is the responsibility to cover the non-programmed decision to the programmed decision. This is crucial view of Simon here is referring philosophical that decision should be taken manner such as rationality is more and character of programmed decision. However, managers should not stop taking the decision for the fear of decision. They should take decision but possibly getting the decision. So Simon also discussed method of converting the non-programmed decision to the programmed decision. So traditional new strategic in the traditional strategy, the individual with the requisite skills, they are traded regularly. They're enriching them skill and innovation. However, traditional strategy limitation. So commitment of member towards the sub goal. The organization has become the more complex, and the number of organizations within the organization and sub goals are there. So individual therefore may longer be loyal to the organization goal rather than loyal to sub goal. And introduction of values, preferences in decision making. So decision making from the number of dimensions, say religious, cultural, family, then the rationality of decision of compromise. The decision should be based on the mean and correlation with the logical consistent. Mode of organization influence. Simon also deal with the basis of motivation and organization. There are two type of influence of internal organization, loyalty, concern, and efficiency, and external influence like authority, advisory, informal service, and further organization and basis motivation in both monetary and non-monetary. He accepted concept contribution, satisfaction, equilibrium. and Bernard, the contribution satisfaction equilibrium is not only the complete criteria of motivation, it is fact one of the criteria for the motivation. Besides contribution satisfaction equilibrium, the individual also evaluate the considered 0 point. 0 point is the best opportunity of individual that is foregone. The individual is fully committed only when the return is more than the 0 point. Followed by Bernard, zone of indifference. Simon also discussed zone of acceptance. The zone of acceptance is the positive psychological state of obedience. If an exercise of authority is attempted beyond the zone of acceptance, then the subordinate is bound to the disobey. The zone of acceptance should be worked out through the 0 point. Organizational loyalty. The member of organization are loyal to the organization if they are able to identify themselves with the organization. This serves the important internal motivation. The criteria of efficiency. While the zone of acceptance and organizational loyalty influence the value promises individual, the criteria of efficiency influences capacity to handle the fact. Efficiency implies to the adoption of shortest path and cheapest mean of achieving the desired goal. Be efficient is one of the major influence of organization man. An administrative, according to Simon, must be guided by criteria of efficiency in all aspects of decision making. Criticism. Norman E. Long, Vincent Ostrom criticized Simon, reviving discretionary political administration dichotomy in the new guise. The classical theory believes that political administration dichotomy, according to them, politics is value based and administration fact based. So Norman E. Long and Vincent Ostrom criticized the Norman E. Long and Vincent Ostrom criticized the Simon, and Simon, like classical theories, believe in the science of administration based on fact. To him, administration is the series of set of decision which is both ethical and factual component. The ethical component is the value promise. Simon firmly advocated that the administration should be based on only factual part of administration. So apparently rejected political administration dichotomy. He introduced the political administration dichotomy through his intra-organization concept, considering only factual part of organization. On the contrary, Ostrom and Long propagated that political administration dichotomy fusion, which should be based on inter-organizational approach. The fusion involved two entity, politics and administration, and one can't neglect two in dealing with fusion. So this was the Simon all about. Now we are going to discuss about the Linkert. Linkert in the management system 1 to 4. Okay, so Linkert, being the organizational behavior, provided the explanation for the basis of science and management, known the participative management theory. He departed from classical theory view that provided innovative and alternative method. He and his associate carried out extensive research on management practice in American business and government. A mega research known University of Michigan study was conducted in period of 25 years. The research conducted by Linkert and his team comparable to famous Hawthorne experiment in the term of personal time and finance involved in fact of theory of Francis Linkert, primarily based on the particular research. Some of the major work of Francis Linkert are New Pattern of Management, The Human Organization, and New Way of Management Conflict. The basic view of Linkert was that humanistic organization is highly productive compared to the mechanistic or authoritative organization. System 4, democratic humanistic organization, is more productive compared to the system 1. Supervisory style is system 1. Types of leader. Managerial system is type of organization. Science based management, application of system 4, and managerial conflict. So Francis Linkert classified the supervisor or leader into two categories: job centers and employee centers. The job center supervisor is primarily concerned with the completion of the assignment and task maintenance of the prescribed job. Some of the characteristics of job center supervisor: the expert, heavy pressure to the get the work done. They don't trust, have confidence on their subordinate. They fix the target of subordinate without consulting the subordinate. Close to the detailed supervisions, and they make the subordinate follow and carrot and stick, and they work on the fear of the subordinate to lose their job and incentive. The employee centered supervision was the other hand concerned with the human aspect of subordinate effective building between the high task performance. They exert little pressure on subordinate. They earn and get the confidence, trust, and their subordinate. They fix the target and subordinate after consulting the subordinate. They exercise general instead of detailed supervision supervision create a relaxed environment. They try to make their subordinate obey the working and interpersonal relationship. They help subordinate a mistaken problem. After thorough research and study, Linkard and his associate found that all the organization main employee-centered supervisors were having high productivity than that of organization manned by job-centered supervisor. To verify their finding, Linkard and his associate shifted job uh, centered to organization which previously meant employee center organization. So, in the organization where employee center supervision was replaced the job centered, it was the found that productivity increased rapidly in the initial phase and reached the level of plateau. After reaching the plateau, which gradually decreased and productivity remained the low. Initially, there was no change in the productivity, but gradually increased and maintained a very high productivity in the organization. Their job centered supervisor were replaced by employee centered supervisor. Therefore, Linkert and associate collaborated organization meant by job centers and less productive than organization meant by employee centers. So, supportive relationship. Linkert, based on the assessment of analysis of high performance manager, postulated principle supportive relationship. He observed that managers should organize their managerial function in such a way it should go and satisfy individual background, values, and expectation. This will bring about feeling of supportive relationship among the member of organization. And he further interpreted the managerial function should act upon background, value, habit, and expectation, and this gives sense of supportive nature of environment, and the individual member develop the sense of belongingness. The employee of government India do not usually take the initiative responsibility on this. Supervisor failed to create a supportive environment. Linked while discussing supportive relationship mentioned about the interactive influence system and linking pin model. The supportive relationship within the organization bring about the interactive influence support system. The manager through interactive influence system should be strive maximum individual skill, resources, and motivation at different level. This would facilitate interaction of organization and managerial process, coordination, communication, and directive. Meanwhile, linking pin model facilitate growth of interactive influence system organization. In linking pin model, individual has twin role to overlapping group of organization. In first role, individual is member of higher level group. Second role, an individual is leader of the lower group. This model believes that decisions are taken collectively in the participative manner. The communication travel upward to the bottom word, and each individual act as a link to the both higher and lower level. Every individual who are capacity to contribute to allow their contribute. And the word manager should have the exact best from all the individual. It is believed that the idea of individual in the lowest level may be helpful to the manager setting to the higher level. Therefore, the linking